Hello there, I'm Linor Moudou in for Esther Getoye Award. Welcome to Africa 54. Here is what's coming up. Campaigning in South Africa's tightly contested May 29th national elections enters the final stretch as political parties crisscross the country in a last-minute attempt to attract voters. Fresh off of a state dinner at the White House hosted by President Joe Biden, Kenyan President William Ruto talks to VOA about the future of the East African nation. And we'll have the exciting quarterfinals highlights from this weekend's action in the Basketball Africa League. With only 2 days left before the South African elections, political parties are crisscrossing the country in a last-minute attempt to lure voters. South Africa faces multiple challenges, and political parties have drawn long lists of promises to find the solutions voters want. Reporting from Johannesburg, Tuso Kumalo looks at the issues and how political parties are offering to solve them.
South Africa's political parties are out in full force in their final campaign push ahead of the elections. The ruling African National Congress, or ANC, which has led the government for the past 30 years, still dominates on the campaign trail. President Cyril Ramaphosa is using his government's track record to drum up support.
Our economy in size has, since 1994, has grown 3 times, and the rate of poverty has also decreased, it has come down.
But the ANC has been weakened in part because of Umkhonto weSizwe, or MK, the party that former President Jacob Zuma leads. Many of his supporters are abandoning the ANC, to an extent some experts say could mean Nelson Mandela's party sinks below 50% of the national vote for the first time. The country's biggest opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, or DA, is promising to halt the surge in crime. It's also pledging to address the country's economic and infrastructure woes if it is voted into power.
The DA's key priorities during the 2024 to 2029 term will be to, 1, create 2 million new jobs for South Africans. 2, to end load shedding in South Africa and end water shedding.
The Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF, led by former ANC youth leader Julius Malema, is targeting young South Africans. The party is promising free education and greater economic freedom for all South Africans.
The people of Gauteng, it is so you waited for too long. Freedom is coming tomorrow. South Africa, your freedom is coming tomorrow. The EFF will deliver freedom in our lifetime.
30 years after apartheid ended, many communities say they have yet to experience the fruits of democracy and are not convinced the elections will solve their problems. This community in Kaalfontein, east of Johannesburg, has no houses, no sanitation, and no electricity. Families have to share these outside toilets, leaving 13-year-old Anele Ngumalo worried and frustrated.
The problem of this toilet, you are using this toilet with many people, others they got disease, and we are all using this toilet.
With dozens of political parties on the national ballot, plus the parties contesting only provincial races and independent candidates, come the 29th of May, South Africa's 27.7 registered million voters will be spoiled for choice. Tuso Kumalo for VOA News, Johannesburg.
International investors are lining up for South African nuclear energy technology this year. 2 partnerships have been announced aimed at financing the manufacture of a new prototype small-scale reactor developed in South Africa. One partner includes a collective of family farmers whose businesses are suffering from the country's unreliable power grid. Maurice de Klerk reports from Pretoria.
South Africa's 17-year-long energy shortage makes farmers spend millions supplementing the unreliable national electricity grid with mainly solar power systems or generators running on imported fuel or go bust. Poultry farmers say power outages are bad for their birds and their equipment.
As soon as the power goes out, the fan shuts down and the chickens won't have more than 15 to 30 minutes. As soon as the electricity comes back again, all your appliances gets over or under voltage. So we need to replace it every year.
Despite the dire need, generators and solar systems are too expensive for most South Africans to go completely off-grid. Farmers are hoping nuclear power can help. An interest group made up of regional family farmers called the Southern African Agri-Initiative announced a strategic partnership this March with American investment firm C5 Capital to bring a new kind of small nuclear reactor to rural areas.
We can now deliver clean, sustainable energy to these farming communities by using a pebble bed modular nuclear reactor like the HTMR 100. It's extremely safe to operate. It is much cheaper and much smaller than any of the other conventional types of nuclear that we know.
Small modular pebble fuel reactors could allow farmers or other power users to become independent from government-supplied electricity. South African nuclear firm Stratic Global says its HTMR 100 reactor is relatively simple and easy to build.
We decided to develop a small modular reactor that did not need any water and could be taken to where you want the electricity, and it can have its own independent grid of 2 or 5 kilometers in diameter, or it can connect into a national grid.
South Africa was the global leader in pebble bed reactor technology, also known as PBMR, but froze development in 2010. Some South African researchers and engineers established Stratic Global and locally developed the helium gas-cooled pebble fuel reactor, the HTMR 100. South Africa was also the first to commercially manufacture the tennis ball-sized pebbles, enclosing tiny uranium granules that power pebble fuel reactors.
South Africa is an ideal country to partner with when it comes to the development of nuclear energy.
Despite the global push towards renewable energy, experts say these technologies can still not continuously power the world's electricity grids.
So that's why there is renewed interest in having nuclear power onto the grid.
Tech advisory firm Koya Capital announced a separate partnership with Stratic Global this April.
We also believe this technology is suitable for applications in Asia, Latin America, and even in traditional markets like Europe and the US, where there is demand for a medium-sized solution.
Stratic Global hopes to start building its first reactor later this year. Maurice de Klerk for VOA News, Pretoria, South Africa.
Following a week of activities in the United States, Kenyan President William Ruto sat down with VOA's Huba Abdi to talk about the future of East African nation, including economic and security issues.
I think AGOA is working pretty well, even in its current form. Last year, for example, Kenya exported $544 million US, close to 70-80 billion worth of goods to the United States, quota-free, duty-free. It is a window that gives us opportunity to expand our job creation facilities in our special economic zones I think last year we added 12,000 jobs under this program, and I am very happy with the outcome of my conversation, both at the Hill and at the White House. And I want to thank President Biden for the support that he has given for the renewal of AGOA, which is not going to be just a Kenyan facility. It is an African facility that will support the whole continent, access market for our products so that we can create jobs back at home. We also discussed the bilateral strategic investment, trade and investment partnership agreement, which again, we've made very useful progress.
The U.S. has reaffirmed its support for Kenyan government in sending or deploying troops to Haiti. But U.S. and major other countries have refrained from sending their troops to Haiti. Back home, there's an active case in court in regards to this deployment. The same court has termed this as unconstitutional and illegal. Mr. President, why are you still determined in sending troops to Haiti?
Three things. Number one, the deployment of our security officers to Haiti has been endorsed by Cabinet. Both houses of Parliament have ratified. We have met all international requirements. And in fact, we have complied with the very court order you are referring to. The court asked us to have an agreement signed between Kenya and Haiti, specifically to facilitate this deployment. The Prime Minister of Haiti traveled to Kenya, and we witnessed jointly the signing of that agreement that now paves way and in compliance with the directions of the court. And beyond that, I have also asked the Transition Presidential Council in Haiti, the new arrangement there, to ratify and to confirm that they recognize the agreement that was signed between Kenya and witnessed by the former Prime Minister and myself. And I have it in writing that they confirm that the current administration recognizes that agreement, and it is on that basis that we will be deploying our troops, and also in compliance with the UN regulations and UN requirements under the UN peacekeeping effort. So we are very clear, and I am very clear in my mind, that Kenya has satisfied all legal, constitutional, and international obligations to facilitate the deployment of this police contingent.
Kenyan President William Ruto speaking with VOA's Huba Abdi. The 77th World Health Assembly is underway Monday in Geneva, Switzerland. The theme of this year's Health Assembly is All for Health, Health for All. The Africa-Europe Foundation, the Pandemic Action Network, and Resilience Action Network Africa are holding a panel discussion during the week that will delve into innovative financing solutions for tackling global emergencies like climate change and pandemics exacerbated by COVID-19, conflicts, and extreme weather. For more insight, Paul Walton, the Executive Director of the Africa-Europe Foundation, joins us live from the World Health Assembly in Geneva. Mr. Walton, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
Talk to us about the upcoming panel discussion that you will be hosting with your partners, and especially the significance of financing global emergencies, and what are some of the urgencies that you have identified?
The urgencies are clear. The issue is enormous. This intersection between climate change, pandemic prevention, health has become, there's increasing recognition in the last years, but this is a really critical point. And if we're here in Geneva, it's for two reasons. The first reason is to really transform commitments into action. We've heard a lot and a lot of good news in the last month, included in the climate conference in COP a few months ago. But now is the moment to really see how that's going to play out on the ground. And particularly when it comes to local impact with the most vulnerable communities across Africa and other nations worldwide. And then I think we're looking, secondly, at a shift on what you might call better finance, not just more finance. And this is the fact that, again, we have finance there, we have the partnerships there, we have people who are behind this momentum, but how do you get that in terms of smart investments into health systems of the future? Because this is, again, critical. People are dying every day because of the impact of this climate emergency on our health systems. And now's the moment to really make sure that commitment and that smart investment is transformed into reality.
So when we talk about commitment, what are we looking at? Are we looking at governments, international NGOs? Who is concerned?
So it's the Africa-Europe Foundation. We've had the possibility to monitor the commitments, as an example, between the African Union and the European Union during the last 18 months. And there's a series of commitments when it comes to health systems and investment, to health infrastructure, when it comes to facing the climate change, but also when it comes to other areas of cooperation that are critical here, whether it's energy, it's agriculture. But one of the issues in our international cooperation more broadly is the silos. We have to smash these silos. We have to look at this much more holistically. And I think what's great about what's happening today in Geneva, but we have to really seriously focus, is how we're breaking those silos. We're bringing together people who are working in the health sector, working in energy, agri-food, working in areas on climate policy. But we need them to come together. We need them to be much more focused on this question of investment and finance. How do we really unlock what we know is there to be able to get? So we're talking about finance and political commitments made by a range of member states, a range of international foundations, regional institutions, but all of them are recognizing increasingly, how do you get the impact on the ground? And I think that's where actors and partners like ourselves coming together can play a key role.
So the Africa-Europe Foundation aims to reset the relations between two continents. How do you look at the collaboration with regards to tackling global health emergencies?
Our view of the Africa-Europe Foundation, we were very clear. We were a young organization. We were created in the context of not just this climate emergency, but also a global pandemic. And the way that the whole vaccine access issue played out for us was not at all acceptable. Again, we had people dying on the continent because of a lack of collaboration, a lack of real partnership. So if we exist, it's because we believe there's much more scope for a much better partnership between Africa and Europe. It can really have a positive impact on people's lives and societies. So the quick answer is that the partnership is not in good enough shape today. It hasn't really fulfilled, I think, the commitments it has as a collaboration, but the potential is enormous. We know that if we can build the right trust, if we can have the right conversations between Africa and Europe, we can be transformative, not just in terms of health systems between Africa and Europe, but also what it means for global practice worldwide, which is why I think it's been showcased at a meeting here in Geneva at the World Health Assembly. So this Africa-Europe partnership, in real terms, bringing together different players, private sector, civil society, young leaders, can be transformative. But we have to open it up, and we have to accept it hasn't been good enough as a partnership historically.
Fantastic. Paul, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Paul Walton is the Executive Director of the Africa-Europe Foundation. We are excited to hear what you think about Africa 54 and all our VOA Africa programs on our website at voaafrica.com. Still to come, we'll catch you up on all the weekend basketball Africa League highlights. Stay with us. Health, wellness, sport, beauty, medical breakthroughs. Healthy Living cares about your well-being. What are the main health concerns in Africa and around the world? Find out the latest on coronavirus. Connect with our experts and ask them questions.
How long does the virus stay?
Join me, Linor Moudou, in Washington, every week on Healthy Living, right here on VOA.
where stories come alive. From the heart of Africa, it's the BAL playoffs and finals. It goes up and it goes. Join us in Kigali, Rwanda from May 24th to June 1st at the BK Arena. The biggest show in African basketball is here. 8 teams battling for the championship. Grab your tickets now at ticket.rw. Be part of history, all for the final.
In other news, Nigeria is cracking down on illegal mining, making dozens of arrests of unlicensed miners for allegedly stealing the country's lithium, a critical mineral used in batteries for electric vehicles, smartphones, and power systems. Officials say profits from illicit mining practices has helped armed militia groups in the north of the country. Niger's defense ministry says 5 Sahel nations, Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Niger, and Togo, are holding military drills in western Niger. The Sahel region has been plagued for years by jihadist violence linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. The exercise, due to run through June 3rd, marks the first joint military drills between the 5 countries. And Russia and Mali are launching the construction of the largest solar power plant in West Africa, according to Malian Energy Minister Bintou Camara. Camara says the power station, the first in terms of size in the country and even in the sub-region, is expected to greatly reduce the electricity shortage currently affecting the country. In basketball Africa League action, the Rivers Hoopers are facing the Union Sportive Monastirienne in the 2024 Basketball Africa League playoffs at BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda on Monday. The playoffs returned to the hardwood for season 4 of the BAL in Kigali over the weekend. Libya's Al Ahly defeated South Africa's Cape Town Tigers 87-76 in the opening game.
Can't afford to foul, remember. Izachuel gets it back out, Golden for 3. Long-range shot. Oh! He is just hitting the target big time tonight.
To play good defense and deny this Al Ahly Libya from scoring.
This is nicely done. Well, look at that. The shot will go in. That is brilliant stuff from Gaid Dalamakribi, who draws attention, gets the foul and goes to the free throw line, but gets the points too. Shot clock down to 8. Swings it out. Deng for 3. Oh! Dropping in! And there it is. That is the end. The end of the first playoff. And, well, it's all about Al Ahly Libya just staying ahead, getting victory here.
FAS Rabat defeated the defending champion Egypt's Al Ahly 89-78. Here's a look.
There's a charge coming through. Lions does the damage in a big way. That's a great score. This will be psychologically advantageous if they don't score for Al Ahly. Oh, it's beautifully dropped in, and Murta gets his first points tonight. Who's the Rabat are and how they use the clock, how they use their time. 3 seconds remaining, have to go high. Oh, everything's working, and Bayri's the man. All credit to Said El Bouzidi. They never stopped believing, and they will win this game against Al Ahly of Egypt, and they will take on the Cape Town Tigers.
Saturday's BAL playoff games began with a very close game between Angola's Petro de Luanda and Tunisia's US Monastir, with Monastir coming out on top 70-67.
And now Monastir are in control.
What a big score that was. They have a 2-point lead. Oh, it's picked up by Carlos Moraes. Is he going to go? Where is this going to go? Needs to get a shot in. Needs to get a shot in. Leone! Oh, my word! Leone! 3 points! Mozambique! US Monastir! The
pressure. Perfect from the three-point line.
And we'll see it. There you go. It's perfectly executed.
That exciting game was followed by Senegal's AS Douane dominating Nigeria's Rivers Hoopers 63-57. Let's check out this matchup.
And it is the Hoopers with Ofia going into traffic, still with a chance. Picked up, that's nicely done. There is score, look at that. 2 points and the foul. Slowing it down for Fana. Haruna around the outside. Goes on a little. Oh, get out of there. That is just bombastic. 2 players down, back up on their feet. It's been set up. Oh, that's in. How about that? He gets the ball up. There's a long range shot going in. It doesn't fall. Back out. An opportunity. Oh, it goes over the top. Listen, you've got to tip your hat to the Rivers Hoopers.
And on Sunday, the quarterfinals began with a victory by Libya's Al Ahly against Egypt's Al Ahly, 86-77.
There's going to be a 2-man game at the top of the key.
Look at that! Oh my! Unbelievable. Down to Deng. Deng gets the ball into that man, Hamad. The captain, leading by example. El Gendi takes it up. We got 30 seconds to go. 74-82. Lions flings it down into the corner. Nasser goes for a lift. Oh! 6.9 seconds to go. Coach Sylvie watches on. It goes down into the corner, and they can score if they like. It doesn't really matter. This is done and dusted. How about that? That is just extraordinary.
First Rabat and Cape Town Tigers battled in the last quarterfinals game, with Cape Town winning 91-88 in an overtime thriller.
Shot clock's down to 0. They get another chance. Jordan makes it safe. Brown deals with it. Gets rid of his man. Oh! 3 points for Brown. Fakes, cuts through, tries to hook it. Another chance. Oh, Joy does the business. Sankelo, Diarra. Tigers go up. Oh, it's 2 for Diarra. Up to 15 he goes. 3 points, 2 seconds remaining. Gotta launch a shot. It goes up. It's not happening. The Cape Town Tigers are into the semi-finals for the very first time. Leaders out there.
So much excitement. Now, the semifinals are on Monday with games between Nigeria and Tunisia, as well as Senegal and Angola. Check back with us Tuesday for the outcomes of those games. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, thanks for watching.